God. Oh. Whoa. I'm in the 2022 Audi S8. Has a welcome chime. The vents pop out of the carbon fiber trim when you start this thing up. And for $135,000, it better provide an amazing experience. And today I'm happy to bring Audi onto the channel. I will be featuring more makes and models this year in 2023. It's so easy to get out of the S8 when it has the predictive active suspension here. It makes the vehicle pop up like it's on stilts to make it easier to get in, easier to get out, and also it lowers down after you close the door slowly. So let's get under the hood of the S8. Twin turbo V8 4-liter. Luckily there's 2 shocks here because this thing feels pretty heavy. And this thing is an absolute beast, the V8 TFSI. Twin turbo, 563 horsepower, 590 pound-feet of torque. It's made it to the 8-speed Tiptronic transmission, and of course the Quattro all-wheel drive system. Fuel economy isn't great. It qualifies for the gas guzzler tax of $1,000. I've been getting like 15 miles a gallon on this thing. And this blue is really, really cool. I love how it just stands out. There's not a lot of colors on the S8 I feel like that stands out. And of course we have the optional 21-inch black wheels here. Huge brakes. Like these things are as big, like the brake rotors themselves are as big as many smaller cars, like entire wheels. This thing is super stately. And from the side, it looks, you can tell like it has a little bit of that German Volkswagen heritage. It looks very minimal. Clean lines all around. Black window trim, of course, on this model. Like it's a little bit glossy with the black strip on the bottom to match. But as traditional S8, we have quad tip chrome polished exhaust. Looks great. This vehicle is pretty much a sleeper. You would never expect something this big and this understated with the design to be as fast as it is, as we'll find out a little bit later. I love the blacked out roof. That is a panoramic roof as well. Blacked out Audi logos. And the lighting on this car, make sure to stay tuned for my nighttime review because the lighting on the outside as well as the inside is on another level. So I love the net in here because it's gonna keep my camera bag from flying around as we push this vehicle a little bit hard today. There is actually a spare tire under here, which is pretty rare nowadays, especially when you have vehicles with such large wheels. We also have a pass-through in there for skis, I guess, if you're taking this thing skiing. Push this to close it. Love the S8 badge on the back as well as the S8 badge on the front. I don't know if I mentioned that, but the vehicle just looks so good, especially in this blue color. So let's get on the inside. When I open it, the vehicle raises a couple inches. It's pretty cool. I love the S skid plate there. So let's get inside. We have slow closing doors. Love that. Let's focus on the materials in here. Stitching on the door, really soft leather material. We also have a great headliner throughout the car. I like that it's not all blacked out. I appreciate the lightness and the darkness contrast. We don't have wood in this model, but we have carbon fiber as the trim as well as piano black, and a lot of piano black. And also you might want to have like a microfiber cloth to wipe down the screens because they do collect fingerprints quite easily. We have Quattro embedded into that glossy black panel there, but that carbon fiber looks great on the door panels, on the dash as well. The steering wheel feels excellent. I love the high quality stitching on it, the Audi logo here, the stitching in the middle as well. The paddle shifters I wish were a little bit bigger. The MID is great. You can change the view a little bit. You can customize it just a little bit as well. I like keeping it here because I like to see those revs. You can change your information here from the radio to your phone to the navigation, as you can see there. And you can also change your radio stations from here as well as the volume. Pretty standard. We also have one of the best head-up displays I've ever seen. It's so crisp, so clear, and like I don't get any of that double vision effect. Infotainment can be a little bit overwhelming at times. Typically climate control is down here. You also have buttons to control your sunshade, but it took me a while to figure out how to control the side sunshades, which is pretty much holding this button down, and then they all go down. So heated and ventilated seats, of course. You'll have a heated steering wheel. I can control the back climate control as well, which is pretty neat. There's your heated steering wheel button. You can also sync up the rear and the front climate control. You can also put your navigation up top if you want to see that. And you know, the radio stations I felt like were really easy to navigate, play with, put as your favorites. So well done Audi overall with the infotainment here. It's pretty easy to use. You can also go through a whole bunch of vehicle settings here with ambient lighting, etc. Massaging seats, which is great. I love the massaging seat function in here. There's also a short way to do it if you don't want to go through the menu. Like for example, you could just hold down your seat here and then it'll pop up, and then it's like kind of like a shortcut to turn on your massaging seats. A lot of glossy black in the center here. Luckily we still have a volume dial. I love that. Glossy black. Like I said, you might want to have a microfiber cloth with you. Old school cigarette lighter, aka 12 volt here. The carbon fiber on the center shifter is great. The shifter is pretty basic though. It doesn't actually move. It just kind of like stays in one place and returns to that place. I wish it would actually like move like a traditional one, but it works great. Carbon fiber here with that leather stitching as well right below it. No surprise, aluminum pedals down there. I didn't mention the S8 badge, the tiny little badge on the steering wheel as well. So let's open up the armrest. You can do it two different ways, and I love the resistance here. It feels excellent. It's nice and sturdy, and it feels quality. On the inside, you have two USB-Cs, and then you also have a wireless charger underneath there, and I guess a little light as well. But definitely stay tuned for my nighttime review, because little things like the seat belt connector lights up at night. It's freaking amazing. You also have the 360 camera in here, which you can also do a 3D setup where you can play with it that way, which is pretty cool, I guess. But let's go ahead and get in the back seat. And when I do that, the car will pop up, raise 2 inches before I can set my foot outside. Get into the back here with the beautiful sunshades, huge door. It's just as big as the front door. The carbon fiber and the materials are excellent on here. I actually haven't sat back here yet. My kids have been enjoying it back here. They've been having a fun time. We have vents in multiple spots on the B pillar here, as well as the center. This pops out for accessory charging, you know, cigarette lighters, whatever, the 12 volts. There's also a soft closing doors in the back, no surprise. We have a few functions on here. It's pretty cool. Basic window up and down, but when you do that, the sunshade automatically folds down, so that makes sense. The control for this sunshade over there as well, and you can control the window on that side. It doesn't stop there, because you can also control the sunroof, the sunshade opening, and it doesn't stop there because we have another button that controls the venting of this let's go the other way. It controls that sunshade, which also opens up the roof. It's vented, and then you can fully open it up. So all these sunroof controls from the back and window controls from the back is pretty cool. The back of the seat is actually hard touch. That is actually surprising. I guess your knees are never close to it, so it doesn't matter. And even this mat pocket is a little bit hard touch as well, so that's actually a pretty big surprise because you have carbon fiber right next to it. Huge drivetrain hump in here, doesn't really come as a surprise. There is an additional option here that takes away this middle seat where you can have an even more luxurious experience, but you don't really need it. This is still motorized to an extent. You have to press a little handle inside of here, and then it will slowly fold down and control the closing. If I want to close it, it has like its own little automated sequence as well. So my daughters are trying to open it. They didn't know you had to press a little button inside of there. And I just opened the cup holders as well conveniently. You can control your heated seats back here. I don't have ventilated seats. You'd have to go for that, you know, package where they take away the middle seat here. But it's nice that you can control the climate from back here as well. And then USB-Cs in there to charge your devices, and a little bit of storage on top of that. And look, they even put carbon fiber on this armrest as well. I'm not going to play too much with the vanity mirrors, but this might be the widest vanity mirror I've ever seen. So super wide screen there, and then you also have additional lights up there. Driving around parking garages, you would think would be an absolute nightmare in a vehicle of this size with a wheelbase just that goes on for miles, but this has four-wheel steering, so the wheels will go in opposite directions at low speeds to make it feel like a much smaller car. And I had a similar experience in the new Genesis G90, and that has four-wheel steering as well. And I didn't review that car that long ago, so it's great to get into another large $100,000 plus luxury sedan. It just soaks up anything in the road. It is so smooth, and it's aggressively smooth. I think I'm going to use that in the thumbnail and the title. We're just in the standard comfort mode here, just rolling onto the gas. It is so beautiful. It sounds so good, that deep thumping V8, and the acceleration is just absolutely effortless in this car. Never feels like it's trying hard. It's quite amazing. The S8, you know, has so much performance to it, but it doesn't betray its nature as just an amazing riding car. Feels like you're on a cloud. The steering is so precise. We're just gonna roll onto the gas. Notice it didn't even downshift. It just stuck to a gear and used its immense amount of torque, almost 600 pound-feet of torque, to just propel you forward. And the lack of shifting allows for this vehicle to even be more smooth, more luxurious. Now, not only do you have your climate control settings here, which is pretty convoluted, but you also have these additional fan control speeds over here. And it does take some getting used to, because like you can individually press the fan speed. You can press all the way right to turn it all the way on. And check this out. I just accidentally, I was playing with the vent over here on the far left, and it closed on me. I accidentally pressed the little circle button, and it will close the vent, but it didn't do it that time. So it's slowly doing it. Okay, so it takes its time. So just keep in mind, you may accidentally hit the circle or the flow button to trigger the opening and closing of these vents. It's quite crazy. So we're gonna put it in dynamic mode as we get onto the freeway here. And what it does is, like, you hear the exhaust wake up a little bit more, things tighten in the vehicle. You hear, well, it's the brakes. So you have to push on the brakes harder because the engine's already producing more power. Also, there is a start-stop engine feature in here, which you can turn off with this button. But when the engine turns off, this big V8 is pretty jarring. But what's even worse is that when it turns back on, it like shoots the vehicle forward if you're not really pressing hard on the brakes, because it has so much torque. All right, here we go. Pedal down. God. Jeez Louise. It is so quick. But it doesn't also, like I said, it doesn't feel like you're going that fast in this car, because it's not super loud. It's just like the most beautiful low humming V8 noise. It's like a fast whale. If you think of a whale, you think of them maybe as large and cumbersome, maybe not very quick. Well, you would be wrong, because those things move like torpedoes underwater, and they have a beautiful sound to them as well. Gosh. I feel like it doesn't even, like when I was doing like 0 to 80 there, I didn't feel like it's giving me full power, but at 80 plus, just passing that car, it just took me into another dimension. We got a 911. It could be a GT3 here. We'll see if it wants to play. Well, this has more power than the GT3, assuming it is stock. You just never know. Now, the safety systems can be a bit nannying, because on the head-up display, like, it's telling me I'm way too close to the car in front of me. There may be a way to disable that, but I'm not going to get lost in the menus for 10 minutes. I can't go between cars like the GT3 can, and nor is this my car, so I'm not that comfortable weaving through traffic either. Oh, he's already stuck behind a big SUV. It looks like a big Jeep or something. So I'm really excited to get into the brakes hard here. And going 80 plus in this vehicle, just it's sneaky, because it's just so quiet. Even the engine is just not really, even though it sounds great, it's not really doing anything. So let's get hard into the brakes here. Oh my gosh, it just melts away speed. I wasn't even close to standing on the brakes, and just went from like 80 to 20 really, really quickly. Man. Getting out in front of traffic again, you would think would be a chore, because this thing is huge, but it instantly warps you to any speed you want. So it's never an issue if you need to get into traffic. So I've showed you two different ways to use your massaging seats, but there's actually a faster way to do it as I'm learning more about this car. There's just so much to it. And like I said, I haven't reviewed an Audi probably in like 4 years. So it's there's a lot for me to get used to. Anyways, there's an interface on the left-hand side of the seat by your left thigh that you just press the center button on it and it immediately starts massaging your back. You also have thigh extension in here, which I really like. Like, I've been in a lot of different car seats. These are super comfortable. And even though it's an S vehicle, super sporty, the seats are still on the favor of luxury. Like, very plush. I don't feel like I'm trapped in them, but they're still firm and supportive at the same time. So like, they're a great, well-rounded seat overall. Now this car is so smooth, even in dynamic mode, I forget it's in dynamic mode. It's still not much louder. The only way I can really tell that I forgot to put it back into comfort mode is that when you're stopping, it downshifts more aggressively, so the stopping isn't quite as luxurious and smooth. But let's just put it back into the comfort plus mode and relax. And when it does that, it went ahead and lifted the vehicle a little bit as well. So you have that adaptive suspension here that is predictive. It's like that $6,000 option. From my understanding, like when you're in a turn, it can predict the surfaces ahead of you and adjust the height of the suspension, which is pretty crazy. It can also use a camera system to adjust the height of the vehicle if it senses an incoming collision or crash or something. So it's quite amazing. And is it worth $6,000? I mean, heck, probably when you're already paying $120 for the base model. Living here in South Florida is just ridiculous. Like, we saw the GT3 earlier, and you pick your Ferrari at this point. So like, this is insane. I'm gonna follow them. I'm gonna cut off this red Ferrari here, but I don't know how to get over that. Oh gosh, why is there so many? Why is there so many cars taking a right here? Thank you. Okay, I'll get in front of the Maserati. I'll get in front of the poor person's car. Like this, what a treat, guys. What a treat. There's a little Corvette action up there too. This can dance with them a little bit. You know, we're not on a track, so I can probably keep up to an extent with these Ferraris, but like, you know, street limitations here really hold back a lot. You know, Ferraris on 5th was this weekend here in Naples, so there's like 150 Ferraris typically. I didn't go this year, I went last year. It's so crowded, I don't really enjoy it that much, but how lucky am I that I get to play with them a little bit, and it's pretty cool. GT2 RS, that is a rare beast. That was sick. I don't know if I've ever seen one on the streets. I really want to get around this Ram truck so I can see more of the Ferraris as they keep going up there. There we go, got around that truck finally. These things are pretty. I love hearing their engines. A super fast, I think this is. Here's one that has a fixed roof, still just as sick. We have a little BMW i8 up here. Let's switch it up a bit, right? What do you think of the copper color? You know, most of the time I see them in grays or blues, the i8s. But I would, you know, if I was getting one, that copper color is pretty neat. So all the Ferraris that were behind me are actually going to the same road that I was, because I do a lot of my 0 to 60s there. So I'm just going to put it in park. They're all going to start passing me. So I want you guys to hopefully be able to see them take a left here. A Testarossa. I haven't seen one of those in a while. That one might be my favorite right there. Oh my gosh, that's SF90. I don't know my Ferraris very well, I'll just be brutally honest, but I appreciate them with my whole heart, if that makes sense. We're gonna do our first 0 to 60 here. Oh my god. It's, oh my gosh, what? It just did 0 to 60 in 3.71. I think that's faster than what they advertise it on their website. I've never gone that fast in a 0 to 60 before. I think the closest is around like low 4s. I've done it in a 3.0 Supra before. This is the fastest car I've ever been in 0 to 60. I just want to do it again because, and the roads are a little bit wet here too. That's the crazy thing. Torque brake, go. What? It did it again in 3.71. So what? Unbelievable how fast this car is. I'm a little bit speechless. I knew it was going to be fast. The crazy thing is that it does it with so much ease and effortlessness. There's no wheels like spinning. You're not fighting for traction. The engine is so reserved and refined. Like, it's not even loud, and it just does 0 to 60 in 3.7. I'm like, it's not even that violent of a launch either. Like, I've been in cars where I feel like it's a little bit more aggressive, but for some reason this thing can do 0 to 60 faster than any vehicle I've ever been in, and it doesn't even feel like it. It's almost like an electric car, right? You just put the pedal down and instant power and torque. But it's way better than an electric car because you have the V8 sound that just makes your heart dance with joy. And it stays really, really neutral. You don't feel like, and it probably helps that the wheelbase is so long, but it doesn't feel like the car, the wheels are popping off the front essentially, right? It's not rear wheel drive, but it just does it so planted and calm. And I'm not going through any crazy menus to do like a launch mode. I'm just doing a torque brake. It revs it to a little past 2,000 RPM, and then it just slingshots you through a cannon. So is the S8 worth $120,000+? And in today's day and age, I would say yes. And the reason why is because V8s are a dying thing. The perfection of this engine is incredible. The amount of torque, the smoothness. Like, the rest of the car's fine, right? The looks are okay. It's not, it's really conservative on the outside. The inside, maybe a little bit too much glossy black surfaces. The technology, the comfort is here for sure. On the front seat and the back seat, like, it's all there, but you can get all that in like a Genesis G90. The cool looks on the outside, on the inside. What sets this apart for another 20, 30,000 more than like a Genesis G90 is its absurd V8. It's absolutely worth 20 to 30 grand more than a Genesis G90 if you appreciate the beauty of like a perfect engine note, the immense amount of torque and acceleration, and the smoothness that a V8 gives you over a V6. And man, these brakes are out of this world as well. And the Lexus LS, for example, I haven't driven it in a while. 0 to 60 in that, probably in the mid 4s. It's still fast. But yeah, the engine refinement is on a whole nother level in this car, and the ride quality is better than the LS as well. The technology is better than the LS. I mean, the looks are subjective. I think they're both good looking in their own unique ways. But yeah, like, I would absolutely pick this over a G90 if I cared about performance, and I do when I'm spending $100,000. It's not just about pure luxury. This thing gives you insane amounts of luxury and insane amounts of power, and you're never wanting for more. I guess sometimes you're wanting for a smaller vehicle, like when I was with that 911 GT3 on the freeway. But I'm gonna do one last 0 to 60 here in comfort mode to see what the differences are. We're gonna torque brake, go. You have, oh my gosh, you have a lot. Oh my gosh, I just want to keep the pedal down. I just want to keep going. So 0 to 60 in the Comfort Plus mode is only 4 100ths slower. You're not giving up anything. That's why I said, like, I just feel like comfort mode is the way to go, because it's a softer ride all the time. The biggest difference between sport, or should I say the dynamic mode, versus the Comfort Plus there when you're launching, is that you do get pushed back a lot more because the car moves back, the front end lifts up considerably more than dynamic mode. Despite that, the 0 to 60 is virtually identical. So well done, Audi. Like, I can have my cake and eat it too in Comfort Plus mode, like crazy amounts of torque and power. And I've just had a smile on my face this entire video. I know you can't see it, is whatever. I only just put one camera. You guys don't need to look at my face the whole time, but I wish you can probably hear it in my voice just how happy. I have a little bit of tears in my eyes as well. This is a sort of acceleration and power and just ride quality that makes me like, I could just drive this car the rest of my life, assuming it doesn't break down, and be happy. I wouldn't want for much other than maybe a small flickable car, and I'd just get like a Miata for that nature, and just put the top down too for the voids in my driving wants that this doesn't fill. But this pretty much ticks every single box. It doesn't tick the economy box, which I also love, like efficiency and economy. But you know, when you're spending $130,000, who gives a crap if it's getting you 17 miles to the gallon? And on the highway, you could probably get well into the 20s, but I'm seeing about 17, 18 miles per gallon here. But yeah, I'm gonna do one last acceleration pull and end the video with you guys listening to the V8. Let's go ahead and downshift. Gosh, bless America. God bless Audi. Thank you, Audi, for sending me my first Audi. Like, what a great vehicle to start with. I said I was gonna be quiet, but I just like have so many thoughts I want to share, and share the happiness. Like, this vehicle has just made me so, like, you could bury me in this car and I'd be happy. So anyways, I'm gonna end it there. If you guys enjoyed my coverage of the Audi S8, smash the like button, subscribe for more Audi, because I will be getting an SQ8 as well, which I hear is pretty amazing, just like this vehicle. So I'm gonna end it there. Definitely worth the 20 to 30 grand more than a Genesis G90 or a Lexus LS. Man, it's great to have competition and options. Like, holy cow, I just pedal down again. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.